All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Some usual technical difficulties involving the camcorder and the settings it has to be set on so that this all runs properly. I won't bore you with the details other than it was required to do that. So let's welcome in, for the sake of posterity, two of our amazing mods, Mod Prime Kirihiko and and Crispy Egg Roll. All right, fantastic. All right, it's Sunday. It's sorry, I was starting late. I had real life intruded, and while I kind of discuss real life, I'm going to draw something. I'm not sure what I'm going to draw. It's just a warm up sketch. But yeah, we were expecting some furniture soon, and of course, we got the text alert saying it would be here right around the time of the stream, and I needed to move some stuff out of the way. I posted the photo of the sofa that we got on Discord. I know it's super exciting. You guys want to check it out, but it's there. You can see it. It's a very large sofa. We have 9 kids, 4 dogs, 1 cat, 3 grandparents. Yeah, so it's quite a bit. So we can almost get everyone on the couch to watch a movie. But these days, I think people like just get on the couch and they're all on their phones. That's kind of like I was just checking my screen time on my iPhone. 4 hours and 4 minutes spent on the week. 97 or 98 pickups. I don't know how that. I wish they would kind of share that, like the national norm or your demographic norm or something, or your local norm. I'd be curious. It's the couch where I'm sleeping, Crispy Egg Roll. We have to put guardrails up on the side, make sure you don't roll out. And then, of course, Ren would have to be near a shower. So I don't know. I'd have to probably tear down some walls and reconfigure the house for you guys. All right. What do we got? We got Priscilla Petrates has subbed using Prime. Priscilla Petrates is a fantastic artist. You guys should check her out. Follow her on Twitch. Follow her on Instagram. We got Speedfresh resubbing for 8 months. Priscilla was actually part of our new talent development program. Really didn't have to teach her anything. She was fully formed, actually. But we just wanted to meet her in person, her scintillating personality. And we got the Comic Sources resub, RJ3N, Speedfresh, as I mentioned, RA, DMS Design, 6 months, love the stream, thank you. Schmutzli has resub for 9 months. Vielen Dank, Schmutzli. Vielen Dank, Herr Schmutzlik. I don't know why I'm saying league. The Comic Source has also cheered. Thank you very much. Throwing out his preference for a Wraith sketch. SM McCarthy 313, who had the pleasure of meeting him and his fiancee down in San Diego. Hope you and your family are doing well. Thanks to all the vets today in the house. I thought Veterans Day was tomorrow. Can someone confirm, deny? Let me get caught up here. Bloodhaven Knight has also resubbed for 14 months. Thank you for the long-time support. Spiky Summer, like that name. Wolfie Poo, Greatness Only, has resubbed. Bamfart has also cheered. Thank you. NKAAA has resubbed using Prime. Wireflame Comic has resubbed, or has subbed using Prime as well. Collier 0412 has also joined the club. Sodonym has suggested Nightwing, and Briannas has also subbed. You know what I'm going to do before I start drawing something? I figured I'd do like a little mini lesson. So if any of you guys have a suggestion of what, sometimes people go like, hey, can you do a quick tutorial on hair or feet or hands or whatever, very quickly. I believe today Brendan Louise 19 is sub 5. I think sub all or no sub was last week. How do the legs connect to the waist, says Crispy Egg Roll. Through the sockets, you silly. appetizer. Cryptic games. Can we do military something? Something? Oh, military theme. Yes. Did someone confirm whether Veterans Day was today or tomorrow? I should know these things. Observe tomorrow, but it's today, says Northern Star SML. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that bit of information. So happy Vets Day, I don't know, or happy Veterans Day. My father was a vet. I have a bunch of cousins and cousin-in-laws, brother-in-law. Two brother-in-laws were vets. Bad Kakadu. Would I consider myself a self-taught artist? Correct. I believe so. I've taken art classes, but I would say most of what I've learned is on my own. Queen City Amusement suggests line weights. Line weights. Another person. I am Gary. Can you talk about line weights when drawing? Tutorial on sofas, says Punker13. I like the tutorial on sofas idea. I'm thinking I can draw. Crypto Games, thank you to all the veterans in chat. Yes, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices, for protecting our collective freedoms. You guys are the real MVPs. 100%. I would love to actually go to some. I envy some of my friends have done some USO shows. They've gone to different bases around the world and met fans that are in the service. I would love, the best would be like to go to an aircraft carrier or something, or a submarine. Like a sub would be pretty badass, I think. Talk about gestures. Janella, is this a draw along? It is not a draw along. Sorry, Janella. That was last week. Lighting tutorial. I've done lighting. I've done hair. I'm thinking of line weights, but I'm not sure exactly what I would teach in terms of line weights. Charlie Parks had hard at work on a cancer fundraiser. I'm excited to tell you about in the coming weeks. Bring on the Gambit sketches. Interesting. Okay. Kion49 has hosted me. Awesome. Kay Rasco, so glad to be part of this community for the past 7 months. Thanks for all the fun. Yeah, it's been a pretty good community. Crispies aside. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty good. Monkeg. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Monkeg. Feet tutorial. Someone with a foot fetish. Okay. And tutorial on how to make tutorial, says Gleistig. Gleistig. I appreciate. That's right up my alley, dude. Mini tutorial drawing the Juggernaut, says Eric Fisher Art. Vote. A lot of people are voting line weights. Veritas209X, good to see you again. I have foot phobia. Capes. All right. Let's just knock off a bunch real quick. I don't want. Pity83 has cheered. I always struggle with women's torsos to look feminine. Janella, can you draw Agent 47 from the Hitman game? I'm doing a quick tutorial here. All right, let's go ahead and we'll pull out the Sharpie so I don't. Okay, here we go. Capes. Here's how I do capes. The cape is like a flag or any bit of material. If you have a bit of fabric, okay, I said that's fabric, and you put a pin in it here, and then you apply wind in this direction, okay, it will flutter the stress lines, right? All these, there's little particles, material. Each of these particles has weight. The weight will act like an object in physics, right? So, meaning if there was a pin here and a string with a ball, and you apply force, a lot of force, this ball will kind of bounce around and the string will kind of dance around like that, right? with this ball on the end. This cape, this sheet of fabric, has lots of little tiny balls connected to other little particles that basically create, it's the same concept, right? Little bits of fabric tied to all these little dots. And when you apply force, all these dots dance around, but they're all connected to that pin over there, right? Crispy Egg Roll says, how many first-timers do we have in chat today? He wants to make a good impression on people, I guess. Physics class sure got better since I was, well, this is physics, yeah. So this, all right, so this is important because people go, well, I just want you to understand why these lines go back towards this point up here. And it's because all these objects are connected to the one static point. These are all loose, right? Okay. So if you have, a quick way of doing this is, because air blows randomly and objects float, kind of bounce around randomly, you don't want to do something too regular like this. I mean, you could, right? But it looks too regular. That might have been something that might have flown, no pun intended, back in the 50s, right? But you want something more random looking. So sometimes I just don't look and don't think about it and just throw a kind of random squibble like that, right? Draw your point here and then just connect up the top parts of these lines. Okay. So this is a bit of fabric that has a ton of wind applying against it, and so you've got these crazy forces. And to make it three-dimensional, we can put a shadow here and there, right? Got it? Okay. Now, that's 1 point billowing, creating technical terms. A cape, so if you have Superman's head here, the back of his head, here's his neck, his chin. He's actually got 2 points where the cape is attached. So if you do the cape, the random squibble like that, the edges go like this, and the force line can go either one. It's going to vary depending on the randomness of the wind. So it could go like this, or it could go like this, or it could do both. But let's just go ahead and do that. All right. And a lot of times the ends kind of fold in or out, right? They fold back on it, right? Versberg SHSV96. Yeah, it's your laptop. Okay. Do you guys all understand? All right. Dun, 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 dun. I don't even know the theme song. That's some old school animation right there, dude. All right. Okay. And sometimes he has the symbol back here. Okay. Turbulence. Light speed. All right. Okay. Yeah, I was doing the Indiana Jones theme song, I think. Yeah, I'm not really a musician type. Okay. Brandon Louise 19. Now you're trying to get me fired. Okay. All right. What are we going to do? Oh, line weights. All right, line weights very quickly. How important is it to conform the sign to the cape? You can. I don't try to conform things too much to the underlying musculature, like the Superman symbol I put on the chest. Some people have it where the S kind of folds in the middle, but I kind of like to pad that valley in between the pecs so it's flat, so it reads as a symbol and not as a bit of costume that's form fitting across the chest. Eric Fisher _artist, always focused, always on point, always single-minded. Yes. Let's see. Line weights. Hey, Pim Particle. Yes, we did a art critique of his work. All right. Let's see. Line weights. It's all about lighting. So if you have an object and it's a can, okay, in space, on a surface, all right, with a light source, okay, and we're going to ink this to make it look as three-dimensional as possible. Okay, we can put a thicker line furthest away from the light source and modulate it. And by modulating, I mean go from thick to thin. So this lid here casts a slight shadow, thinner over there, and if you notice, I didn't even draw the other side. I left it kind of open. So if you just do something very thin like that, okay, it's almost the light is so intense there, it's kind of knocked out that line. You don't even have to see the line. The mind will actually fill in the shape for us, right? And then this can, let's say, cast a shadow like this. We'll create a gray, like a gray 4 value out of 5, right? So that's pretty simple, pretty basic. Let's start with the basics. Thicker line away, thinner line closest to. Does that make sense? It better, because I can't really explain it any more simply than that. Okay? It's the same way this plane, this surface, is black. And this surface is either white or, say, a level 2 gray. Okay? So do you understand this concept that in a two-dimensional drawing, the only way we can create depth is by fooling the eye using black, white, and gray to create three-dimensional space. Okay? Oh, I hear a crying baby, and I know the source. They're fighting over video games. I'll be right back. I gotta go knock some heads. I gotta go be a parent. I'll be right back. Yeah. It was so our 6-year-old. No, he's not 6. He's 5. Sorry, 5-year-old and our 13-year-old. They both play Fortnite together. So Yeah. No, all I tell them is if I hear crying again, both computers turn off. It's the classic. You are you are in this together. It takes away the whole. A little bit of parenting advice. I'm sure every parent uses this, right? Like it. You don't want to know whose fault it was, right? But you bind them together so they realize that if they both screw up, they both lose, right? Yeah, whatever. Okay. TV's off, games off, same thing, right? It works pretty effectively, but sometimes one of them just wants to see the city burn, and they don't care if they lose as long as their brother also loses. Okay. Yay, socialism. Yes, there we go. Golf Boy Sunday. Well, you want to encourage them, regardless of who's wrong, to work together. So it both gives them incredible power and leverage against each other. But yeah, they have to use it wisely. Unite and conquer. I like that, Duck Helmet. All right, so we're back to this, and then we're creating this three-dimensional space using pure black, maybe 75% black, maybe 40% black. Okay, all right. So you understand this concept of a thick black bar, semi-thick, and a less thick black bar. Even though they're the same size, this and this bar here, this one is perceived to be a thicker bar because of how dense the black is there, right? Prisoner's Dilemma, that's right. Squish 1212, yeah. I was a psych major in college. Anyway, yeah. So then, if you're doing something like a shoulder, okay, which is a sphere, like a weird sphere, looks kind of like a heart, and then it has a tricep in here, which looks like a weird tooth, and then the bicep in the front, and then a socket for the elbow, and then the muscle that goes from this gigantic muscle right here. Okay, so there's a muscle that goes from, I should draw it. It connects from this part and crosses over. Let's see if I can. I can't even. I need the right lighting. Okay. Glass. No Wolfie Pool. I haven't seen Overlord, but I definitely want to, except my wife doesn't like scary movies, so I'm going to have to go with someone else. So there's that muscle there that I just showed you. It goes from the back of the elbow across the front part of the forearm. Let me see if I can, here. It's this one right here. Oh, I missed the line. You can see it. The line's right there. All right. And then there are muscles that come out of here. All right. So there's that tricep line that I was just doing right here. All right. That's this line right here. Got it? Okay, so here's the rest of that forearm down to the wrist. Okay. This is the back muscles. This is the muscles that go to the neck, the side of the, right? This is the back of the arm. I don't know if you guys haven't figured it out. Okay. All right. Okay. Light source is here. So again, the things closest to that light source, I'm going to have a thin line, or not even a line because it's so blown out. But the things away from this, especially if there's a shape, are going to cast a shadow. And that shadow's going to have a particular kind of shape because of the wider the valley, the wider the shadow, right? The more sharply pronounced the cliff is, right? So if it's flatter here and it's the valley's deepest here, it's going to create kind of a gaping shadow like that. This elbow socket's going to create a little shadow, right? And just like how we did a thicker line on that cylinder, this side in general is going to get a thicker line. Because the light source is up here, there's reflected light that comes here. Reflected light is light that bounces. Light basically goes from that object like particles, rays actually. The light hits walls or objects and bounces back this way with reduced strength. But what it does is it illuminates, in general, that's why you get double lit things. So if there's a light source, you can still see things over here because there's light being bounced off of objects over this way. Or a second light source. Could be a second artificial light source. So rather than going and just doing one solid black line like that, you could do that here. But on this, I'm not going to do a solid black line up and down this whole thing. I'm going to go lighter at the top because of this bounced light that's coming this way. And just do something darker underneath like this. Okay? And then it gets lighter again because the light's hitting it again. Or this light's hitting it. So I'll catch the underside of that bicep, the underside of this shoulder muscle, underside of this forearm, this muscle that I drew here. We'll cast a little shadow, a couple things like that. Okay? In general, most things get thicker towards the bottom. Okay? All right. Hey, Ren Elephant, we got all three in the house. Ren, are you at work? I don't want to call you out. There we go. There's Ren. Hey, Ricky in 19. Ren, are you in the shower? Asking for a friend. No, I'm off today. Cool. Hey, Poop Kid. We got Poop Kid in the house, too. There we go. Gotta love that. Oh, that's right. DMV. Who's at the DMV right now? On a Sunday. Okay. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. And this is line weights. All right. Line weights is intimately involved with, related to shadows, right? So this is a line weight, but it's also a shadow. This is definitely a shadow. This is a line weight. Okay. Once you have your line weights down, you start deciding, well, how heavily shadowed is this? Where is this light source? If there's an object, okay, and the light source is here, right? There's not really gonna be a shadow on this, maybe a slight shadow over here. As this light source rotates around in space, right? Three-dimensionally, right? That this shadow is going to become more pronounced. So when this light source is right about there, this whole thing is going to be black, right? And cast a shadow this way. Does that make sense? Better. All right, so the same thought is I have this cylinder, I have this light source, so depending on where this light source is will affect whether this is mostly black or hardly any black. So that if it's parked right about here, let's say it's parked in that position there, what happens is this sort of heart-like thing, the shadow creeps up like a sundial, and you start seeing all these shadows that I placed elongate and then even connect up. And if there's bounce lighting, you'll get rim lighting here like that, so that the shadows don't go all the way to the edge. But if you have a weak secondary light source or not much rim lighting, it goes all the way to black here. Got it? And because this can look very graphical or kind of hard-edged, a lot of people would dither the line with a brush or a marker and create this kind of intermediary gray along the edge, kind of transitioning from a pure black to white. Okay? And you can do it kind of this like alligator teeth kind of effect, or you can do something that's a little more pulled out if you want. Right? They accomplish the same thing. You can use a combination of both. A lot of people like kind of dithering and pulling lines out of it. Okay? But realize as you add lines, you're creating a gray value, but you're also creating a flatness, right? Depending on if the line is curved, you'll create curvedness, so I would suggest having a slight curvature to the line. But if you put something that's flat, you're laying down both a gray value and also creating a plane. You're flattening out this three-dimensional shape that is essentially tubular or cylindrical. So you just got to be careful and be aware of that. So I would suggest doing a slight curve, and I'm going to exaggerate it here. Hopefully you guys can see that curvature that I'm putting in. I'm exaggerating it, right? Now it looks very rendered. It looks very kind of early 90s Jim Lee or image style, whatever you want to call it. It kind of came from Barry Windsor Smith. But again, going back to the line weights, I'm going to do more of it towards the bottom of the form to add that weight. That's why it's called line weight. It's to create weight and volume. And that typically goes to a black, right? Black value. So it's just about layering on texture in the service of creating shadows, creating values, creating weight, creating the illusion of light. All these things kind of interact together. Okay? All right. And then you can take white out, and you can work against your grays, create positive shapes on using white. All right. All right. Got it? All right. All right, let's go to a character drawing. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and give these two away. Today, I believe, is sub 5. This will be about anyone in chat. I'm just doing it very quickly. So let's just roll away. First up is this one. Looks like harmonic analyses. All right, and here we go. Print B, following since November 23rd of last year. Print B, please join the Discord channel. Send me a message. Verify that it's you somehow. Maybe by sending me a whisper via Twitch at the same time. Try to send that out. It usually takes like anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to 6 weeks to get the stuff mailed out. It's just something we do. I kind of wait till I get a bunch kind of stacked up and then unload it on my assistant to mail out all at once. All right, now we're going to do this kind of very overdeveloped ARM. Grifter 2016. Kind of like that name. Following since April 13th of last year. Oh, this year. Sorry, this year. Very quick. All right. So now we're on to the actual drawing part. Now that we've learned a little bit line weights and capes, we are going to what are we going to talk about? Thank you very much for the sub, Bronil. Janelle has cheered as well. Looking for Agent 47. Isn't Agent 47? He's just like the bald guy with the gun. No offense. Game of Thrones Risk look incredibly fun with John and Serge. You managed to mix one of my favorite games and one of my favorite bands, Charlie Parks. All right. I don't know if anyone here works. I think Risk is produced by Hasbro. I hate to like rant and be inaccurate, so I'm gonna have to. It's a friendly rant. Okay, yeah, it's by Hasbro. All right, so let me just say, I shouldn't even say. But for those of you who have played that game, let me just say a couple things. A positive critique. 1, please create the next edition map so that the continents, the territories, the kingdoms are better distinguished from one another. They're literally light purple right next to dark purple. Super hella confusing, as the kids like to say. Second, we're on slow roll. Thank you, Kira. It's like slowing me down. Second, let me just say that there's like a gray army, a light gray army, and a slightly darker, less gray army. They look exactly the same, especially in my crappy eyes. Please just do a red army, or there's 256 colors in the very simple color palette. Even there's like 8, well, whatever. I'm not just, you guys can figure it out. But there should not be a light gray and a dark gray that look just the same. And then I don't know if anyone play tested the game, but if you play it, there are not enough single armies, or 15. Like in the regular Risk, there's 1, 5, and 10. There's no 10 markers. You need 10 markers. All right. But I love the game Risk. Risk is amazing and one of my favorite games. So, Days CF Prez. Video and chat is not lagging. I think it's on a slow roll. So, also, there's like 2 territories that are separated by a little inlet. Can you attack across that inlet or not? You just have to figure out a way to clearly identify that. Axis and Allies game. Yeah, little too look, I played hardcore board games when I was a kid. Avalon Hill and, there was another company I forgot the name of. But those literally a World War II Pacific theater recreation. And to play it accurately, you needed like a gigantic tennis court to replicate the size of the vastness of the ocean and the size of the ships relative to one another. And, the house we grew up in St. Louis, played in the basement, and I had that kind of room. It was gigantic, and we were using these yardsticks to try to move these pieces around. It was nuts. But, Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader, Squad Leader, some of my favorite games. Third Reich, Diplomacy was another great one. So I'm all about hardcore games, and allies and axes and allies is kind of in between Risk and those old, more hardcore board games. But who's got the time to do that? I mean, we played that Risk game for like 8 hours because John likes to play his own version of the rules that really slows down the game. But that's a whole different discussion. All right, so what are we going to draw? Let's draw. Shall we draw a soldier for Veterans Day? That could be the giveaway. Bamfart has cheered. Friend, I'm gonna do a soldier. All right, and I'm gonna do this because it's super important. Like, drawing soldiers is all about helmets. I think helmets, webbing, gear, getting the gun right, the weight of the fatigues. They're not wearing like superhero, lycra spandex. They're not wearing cotton. It's a heavy fabric that has weight. Okay. The best kind of military comic I've ever read was Michael Golden's The Nam. Fantastic if you guys ever check that out. All right, so an American helmet. It's different now, but like in the kind of in the Nam era or war, it would kind of go like this. And then inside you have to recognize that there's webbing and there's space between that helmet and the head that goes in underneath it. Some people make the mistake of kind of drawing a big head. It looks more like a cap. So it's got to be something kind of smaller like that. And then sometimes there's a strap that will go across, and then they could put like cigarettes or something here. Put a cartridge of oil for the gun, cigarettes. Okay. And I'm not going to do a superhero physique. I'm going to do a very kind of, actually a little cartoony and kind of thin them out, just because that's a simpler time. Not simpler time, but just, I don't want to exaggerate it. I'm going to exaggerate the elements of the uniform, right? And so they tend to, because it's a thick material, it's going to bunch out. The belt's going to cinch it in, and then it's going to bunch out again. And then the pants are going to be super baggy. And then the sleeves will kind of flare out and get wider at the bottom. Okay. All right. This is the fist, and if you notice, I do just kind of pentagon type shapes to indicate where the fists go. Put a gun here. Do a old school M16. Okay. Webbing that comes down here. Pouches for ammo and gear. Okay. Physique-wise, this actually looks very kind of like it's a woman, but I'm going to switch it up. Okay. Okay. Oh, that sounded like screaming. I'll give them one chance to realize that they are this close to the edge here. Actually, I'll send a text message. The text message will be, was that screaming I heard? All right. Okay. So I'm looking at this helmet. I think part of the issue is that I've drawn a very large helmet for the size of the physique. So one way of instantly making it the physique a little larger is always by reducing the size of the head. So if the head is like this, maybe bring that helmet down lower. Okay. And then from the sides of the helmet are the straps, the chin straps. They kind of dangle down. And if there's cover on this fabric material goes over the helmet and creates wrinkles, essentially, like that. This helmet then casts a shadow across the face. I think I'm doing a World War II soldier from the Vietnam era, but I might have some of the details wrong. I have no reference here, other than just memory. So the shapes underneath, basic shape of the head is that there's a valley where the nose is, not a valley. There's a round shape, a potato head shape, and then there's this kind of valley. Actually, where the goggles. If you were to draw goggles on this person, that's where the shadows go. And the nose casts a shadow. Upper lip casts a shadow. The lower lip casts a shadow. The side of the chin casts a shadow. The cheek casts a shadow. Ear pops out. The head casts a shadow across the neck. And we're more or less kind of done with the head. Stormblade. Yeah, of course it's okay to look at reference for this. I mean, I draw from scratch to kind of walk you guys through the conceptual thinking. If I'm drawing something from a photograph, you don't have to worry about this. You're following like the shapes. You're reacting to the shapes and shadows that you see from real life, which is different than constructing it in your head and then translating it onto the page, right? Did I say World War II? I meant Vietnam. I was Jackson's being a salty boy, says Mason. Hey, Kanger Banger, right? And then all right, white T-shirt, dog tags, button, military pouches. Now the same thing I was saying before about capes, same thing with fabric coming off the shoulder. Imagine the pin is there in the shoulder. It's not going to undulate as crazily, but that line that connects this particle, this element which has weight, has a line that goes back to that pin. It breaks here in the middle because there's a slight bend in the arm. If there wasn't a bend in the arm, it would go straight, relatively straight. And that's where the folds come in. Okay? Here's the hand. There's shadows that go in between the fingers. This is the I kind of simplify the shape of the fist. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, ooh, that's good. Light source. You see that? Where the lightness is here, and the darkness here? If you squint a lot, it becomes a line like that. So this is the knuckles with light. This is the top of the arm with no light. Okay? See you later, Brandon and Louise, 19. Enjoy that yard work. Now, a problem with what I've just drawn with the gun is the gun is now too large because I shrunk down the head. And that's actually a very common thing I've noticed. Like a lot of artists that have never drawn military, myself included, sometimes they'll get the scale of the gun guns will be too large, cars will be too large, tanks will be too large, like especially a Jeep. If you see like a real World War II era Jeep, like you're kind of, it's surprising kind of how small that vehicle actually is. Okay. Hey, what's up?
I just want to see what you're doing.
Oh, I'm drawing.
Mason's
He's what?
watching you.
Mason's watching me?
Yeah.
Here, wait, hold on. See you later, TMBC. Here, come over here. Yeah, I'll get the packet of smokes on his helmet. It says Martin San Antonio. Say hi. Oh, look, your shirt is blue and it's disappearing. Look how it's disappearing on the screen. Do you see? Like, look. What happened to your body? It's disappeared. You're just a head. It's pretty funny. Anyway, all right. All right. Hey, Jordan.
This little potato
Huh?
is trying to expose me.
Yeah.
What in real life.
Yeah. You gonna come in too? Or hold on. Don't knock over the camera.
That's a camera. So much fighting.
All right. I'll now watch everything come crashing in.
Yes.
Oh, look. The camera's shaking.
Oh. I see in the background.
Do you guys at DC ever consider artists in their 40s? I hope so. Hopefully their 50s too. Wolf McQueen has subbed. Thank you very much, Wolf McQueen. Kanger Banger has resubbed for 11 months. Thanks for everything. Maybe there's a chance I'll see you at Torpedo. I'll be there December 8th in Las Vegas, and then also at Mexico City Comic Con, I think first weekend of December.
Oh, dang.
Are you there? They can only see your...
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah. All right. Is that a Snuggie?
What, my blanket?
Yeah, on the weekends, I think he just wears a blanket
And pajamas.
and pajamas. It's like gaming all day, every day. All right.
Gotta get that grind.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to widen his stance out a little bit. Draw the rest of the hands here. Although I don't know what he's doing there. I know what he's doing. I'm going to bring that arm down a little bit. And put a cigarette. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. All right. So that's the basics of it, right? Mason Bacon. That moment when you have to pay to use an emote that's your own face. Here, I'll gift you a sub, dude. Hold on a sec. How do I do that? Gift sub. Just the tier 2 though. All right. Why is everything? There you go. Does that work now? Mason? Nope. I just gifted you a sub. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I didn't scroll down. Complete purchase. Oh, gotta type in. There we go. Bear with me. While we wait for that to happen, we're going to put a strong light source over here, so it's actually going to cast. There we go. Now that work? There you go. All right, light source is I'm gonna put a light source on the side of this guy's nose. He looks a little happy. I'm gonna kind of make him a little more grizzled looking. All right, so we're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna do a very quick ink job with a marker, and then do a lot of it with brush. Kind of get a little more of a gritty feel to it. Okay, so. Do like some lucky strikes or something. I don't know. Sometimes they would have things kind of painted or put on the sides of the helmet. Well, yeah, I said I was going to do a lot of it with a brush, which I will. All right. Since I'm going to go in with a brush, keep the inking very loose. So there's a lot of kind of scribbles, where normally you'd kind of do like a very kind of controlled line. Right? 22 Bonilla cupcakes. I'm supposed to be doing my child psych homework right now. Oh well. You can't do both at the same time. And the name tag goes here. United States Army goes on this side here. Another way to think of these folds on the cloth, certainly when the arm is bent, is kind of roads that go up a mountain, right? Roads go up a mountain. If there's a mountain like this, the roads go like this. Correct? Yes? We've all been on mountains. Thank you for the sub Desert Rose. We did a Twitch meetup actually at WonderCon last year. San Diego is just too busy for me. WonderCon is just like the right amount of kind of busy with not busy, and so I took everyone out to, where did we go? We went to Buco di Beppo, I believe. Was that right? Running full 11. It's Vietnam. M16. Give him a watch. Complete the other hand. Just I kind of suggest it. Not looking to do anything too crazy. Give him a smoke. The belt buckles, there's like a line, crosses over, comes down, and then the other half. Draw the fabric like that, the fabric lines, the thread lines, and then I think is it 2 or 3? I'm gonna go 2. It might be 3. All right, that's your fairly standard military webbing belt. They're Lucky Strikes. Got a circle. Right. And this will be longer. Okay, but again, as we're saying the belt kind of cinches it in, fabric gets caught, and then this is for the gun. There's a seam line that comes. Oh, that just reminds me, I forgot to pick up something from the store. The random things that pops into your head as you're drawing. Seam line, seamstress. Forgot to pick up something. They're closed on Sunday, so. Smoke grenade. I think it's usually it's roughly that size. The M16 has a iron sight that kind of goes up, kicks up, has a little bit of a notch there, comes back, sort of like a Robin R. Okay. Top of the barrel has notches for the heat to dissipate. Comes out. I think there's another line right there, and then it's got a very special kind of muzzle flash that kind of looks like an alien Pooper scooper. It's got holes in the side. Okay. And then there's like battalion symbols. I think they go up there. All right. Like I said, this is an approximation. To do it full justice, you have photo reference, but then you have photo reference, and I'm going to feel beholden to kind of draw the image rather than kind of construct it along with you guys and kind of walk you through the process, right? Brian Rest, yes. If you follow the stream at all, you know that I have a very technical vocabulary I like to use. Golf Boy Sunday has cheered. Thank you very much. Looking great so far. Appreciate it. Dancer Chick 23 sub meetup at WonderCon this year. Yes, there probably will be. At some point, we'll compile a list in advance of WonderCon, so people just don't sign up during WonderCon, and people will receive a secret message and a secret location. Yeah, that's my one good thing I do for the community. Once a year, we'll get together. KC Snipes Art. German tanks were equal to 4 American tanks, but Americans always had 5. Yes. That's my understanding of it as well. And they pay a secret fee. Do we get a decoder ring? I don't know. There might be some. I don't know. I have to figure out. All right. So now, let's get the ink out. And a brush. I hope I washed the brush. Yeah, I have a brush over here. A brush right here. All right, now we're going to just start inking shadows. Light sources over here, so dark shapes on the other side. The thing with inking with the brush is that you often get very kind of different lines. I know you'll get different lines than if you ink. Just using a marker. And you can also kind of go in there and stab at shapes. Okay. Create shadows. And then this head. Create a shadow. I pretty load up the brush with a ton of ink. This is probably too long now that I look at it. This barrel. Knuckle, 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 knuckle. Shadow the top part. Shadow the hand across the forearm. shadows in the folds of the material. Okay. Smoke grenade. Cast a shadow across the body. Each of these undulations casts a shadow onto itself. Right? This fabric casts a shadow across the forearm. It's kind of fun to create like sort of like Rorschach patterns with the ink, right? It creates the illusion of shadows, but also creates really kind of visually interesting shadows, patterns actually. Okay, and then these pouches. Cast shadows across the fabric itself. You can see it's very wet. The brush is very loaded. Then it's good to consolidate some of the shadows so it's not such a hodgepodge. Right? I'm going to go and just go to black in some areas rather than have lots of little white areas. Go all the way to black there. All the way to black here. Okay. Hey, Quick Draw 13. Just woke up 3-day show here in Australia. Congrats. What's a G pen to ink? I don't know what G pen is. Is that one of those artificial markers? I'm just letting it dry a little bit. Thank you for resubbing Sketch Kick, Blunt Pencil 83. Any interiors on books anytime? I believe Detective 1000. I've got a short story in there. Negative Balance. Did you like the automatic pencil from Alamo Comic Con? Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think I have it right over here. All right. Very cool. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Now, I forgot the straps. Do it. Okay. All right, now then we're going to do the background. Recognizing I'm going to do black. I'm going to do the shadows in between the trees. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm trying to look at the white spots, the white areas, rather than the black, if that makes any sense. And then I don't want it to look like there's just two uniform kind of areas of black around him. So I'm going to try to make the two areas look a little asymmetrical. To the best of my ability. Okay. Let that dry. I'm going to wash my brush. See you later, Demogorgon. Duck Helmet, I'm giving this away to one of the people that support the stream. Just waiting for it to dry. If the winner wants to make a contribution, I'll leave that up to them. To a veteran's fund. I donate money to different causes over the course of the year, so not everything's related to the stream. Thank you for the bits, Kanger Banger. Appreciate it. Is that smoke or a tree? Says Eric Fisher, artist. I'm pretty sure it's a butt, dude. What are you seeing? Flash Shante 12. I did not know you were on the 10K. It's a bunny, says Spooned. Hey, Billy Asa, good to see you. Einstein Johnson. Twix Tricks, it's an inside joke. Bedlam Knack, love it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ontarian 2, hello from Timmins, Ontario. Hello yourself. I won the 5K. I saw you in San Diego the week before for Sam. Congrats, man. All right, so I think it's mostly dry. I see a little couple areas that are still kind of wet. All right, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in with back with my marker. I'm going to add little bits of detail to just kind of make it not look so blobby. All right. Just kind of pull out some of these shadow areas here. Add a little bit of line weight. Maybe a little bit of hair and scruff. All right, just kind of like I said, just pull out some of these kind of things so that it doesn't look quite as haphazard. Okay. Black Uriah has resub. Thank you very much. All right, then we get the white out here. Okay. bamboo trees or something. Okay. Now to add a little kind of grit to it, I'm going to take my trusty Starbucks card here, put a little white out in the corner, and then just splatter. Just adds a little bit of grit to the shapes, a little texture. Like there's just bits of dust being dusted about by the helicopters, the winds. Okay, that is it. That's all I got. I'm going to erase down here just because I have a remnant cigarette here. Alright, so let's see if I can show this in the proper... kind of down and dirty. Alright. Thank you very much for the bits. SMC Cardi 313 and Stone Cold Snake 316. So I will give this away at the end to a sub 5. Alright. It's been a while since I've done a silent auction, so I thought I'd do one now in the room. Oh no, it's I've got 10 minutes. You know what? I'll save that for next time. A little bit of on a time crunch today. So, yeah, let's do a couple things. One, let's thank our mods. Okay? Crispy Egg Roll, Ren Elephant, and of course, Kirihiko, tuning in all the way from Die Schweiz. And then, of course, I want to thank all the regulars here from Poop Kid, Kanger Banger, to Cryptic Games, to Bedlam Knack, Jeremy Eljo, Queen City Amusements. There's so many of you guys at this point. Bilyasa, on and on, Pity 83, Joshua Flower 1979. So thank you guys for all tuning in on this Sunday. I know that there are many, many options, entertainment options, so I'm glad you guys check in on this live. We are going to do a raid. That's another thing that we'd like to do after a stream. Okay, so let me see what the mods have in store here. Okay, I've got my... So happy Veterans Day. This will go to a sub 5 candidate. I'm going to go ahead and do that auction. But right after that, we are going to go raid another stream. And what that means for you guys that are tuning in for this time, first time, we basically, the mods identify someone out there, another streamer, usually in the creative, always in the creative, who don't get quite the level of love as, well, definitely not the level of love that gamers get, game streamers, but don't even get the level of support that I get. And so it's nice to discover new talents. And please, sometimes I realize when we go to someone else's stream, they don't know anything about comics per se or my work. It's no big deal. Please do not like get on them about it. It's it kind of frankly embarrasses me a little bit. But at the end of the day, art is art, and we should recognize that everyone has different influences. So please be understanding and supportive of these people, and realize that what you love may not be what everyone else loves. Right? Pretty common. It's a truism that we can all believe in. Right? Anyway, so let's do the giveaway, and next week I will be streaming again, same time, roughly 10 o'clock. There will be a regular drawing that would be a sub 10 giveaway, and then I will do a silent auction. It's been a while, and do that for those of you that like to participate in those. So go to the Discord channel. There might be some conversation and pre-conversation of what I'm going to draw from both the giveaway and the silent drawing. At this point, that's actually kind of the hardest thing for me to do when I sit down in this chair and start streaming. Is like, gosh, what am I going to draw today that I haven't drawn before? That kind of keeps you guys interested, keeps me interested, etc., etc. All right, so this is a sub 5, and what that means is basically anyone that is a sub, whether 5, 10, 25, you'll be eligible. What we're going to do is switch the chat to emote only, and then you will have to type in... well, actually, never mind. There's a way for me in Nightbot just to limit to subs, so you don't even have to do that. All right, so let me just change this back to get... all right, so right now, the eligibility is only for mods and subs. All the mods are subs, so let me just take the mods thing away. Although, I wonder what happens if you do that. If you unclick mods, if a mod is a sub, are they still eligible? I would think so, but you know what? I'll just keep mods and subs activated. All right. You have to have chatted in the last 5 minutes. Please do not spam the chat because you will get locked out. All right. I'm going to wait for the number of users that are loaded up to be eligible to win to jump up. There's a little bit of a lag between when you guys input your comments. And I will actually post this up in the Discord channel. I usually put it up on my Insta at some point, but when I get around to it, I have to write some fancy message, and on something like this, I can just go ahead and why is it so dark? Okay. All right. Got some more people loaded up. for whatever reason, the picture came out dark. I'm not sure why. Now that I look at it, I kind of want to adjust the helmet line so that it's a little more like this. There you go. Okay. I don't know if that did anything. Might have screwed it all up. The helmet's all important. Every helmet has a different kind of shape. Oh, I know what I was going to do. A lot of times I would have messages on them. And with that shadow, kind of messed that up. But let me see if I can fix that. Almost done. Thank you, Sketch 22. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and then I can clean it up a little bit more. Alright, here we go. It's a mix of like white on black and black on white. Got it? Alright, perfect for the stream. Alright, let me see if I can take another picture of this. This is better. Why did it come out so dark? Yeah, that's a better one. Alright, I think we're all loaded up. Here we go. Jester X, following since June 27th of this year. JESSSTER_X. All right, Jester X, please join us on Discord and verify who you are via Twitch. Whispers, and we're going to go do a raid. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks again to the mods, Kurihiko, Ren Elephant, Crispy Egg Roll. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. All right, I'll be here.